How to grow in the gifts of the Spirit. Comment what you believe your primary gift of the Spirit is and share with somebody. You talking about miracles. We talking about healing. We talking about faith. All of these things. How do I mature in those and become more effective? The gifts of the Spirit will never be effective without love. You see, God is love. He who dwells in love dwells in God. And God says, I am the vine. You are the branches. And when we talking about the fruits of the Spirit, which come from a tree, it says love first. And if God is love and He is divine, He is the main part. That means that out of all the fruits of the Spirit, love is the main part. And if you are dwelling in love, you are dwelling in God. That means it is love that keeps you in the Spirit. And you cannot use a spiritual gift outside of the Spirit, if that makes sense. So the key to being able to operate in the gifts of the Spirit is to operate in love. And this is why Paul tells us above prophecy and all of these things to follow after love. Now you understand why God uses people who have terrible backgrounds to operate greatly in the gifts of the Spirit and do all of these miracles, because he who is forgiven much loves much. But that don't make sense, because everybody has been forgiven much. But you see, the thing about people is we have the tendency to think that because I didn't do this, I did this, but because I wasn't out here doing this, I'm good. So then we look down on other people and we become judgmental, and instead of teaching the truth in love, so when we even try to steer somebody in the right way, we have no power. So really it's he who realizes that he has been forgiven much, loves much. So now is a certain type of people who knows that he has no right to judge. So instead he chooses to love, and now the power of God can flow through him. Even you read about Jesus, before Jesus would do miracles, it says, and Jesus was filled with compassion and he healed them all. That compassion rose up out of the love that he had for people, and he hated to see them crippled. He hated to see them demon possessed. So he had a strong desire for them to be helped. And it was all for them and not for him. Because remember, if it was for him, if it was his human desires, then he would have let the cup pass him by. But for you and for me, he died and rose again so that we can be healed, so that we can be saved, so that we can be prosperous. He loved us so much that he gave himself. But if it was about him, then he would have kept himself. Same way with the gifts of the Spirit. You love somebody so much that you receive the ability to give them what God placed on the inside of you. So if you want to increase in your ability to operate in the gifts of the Spirit, focus on increasing in love, and God will use you.